All right, guys, welcome back into another NFL DFS video. Got the week 15 core plays video here for you. It's going to be more of a core plays picks video going live, so I will be able to interact with you guys. Got Infamous saying Derek Carr ruined him yesterday. Derek Carr ruined a lot of people yesterday, which is unfortunate. Yesterday was a fun game, though. I mean, the person that really ruined me was Austin Eckler. I mean, that was sad to see. Just a strange slate. Yesterday's NFL showdown slate was more like a preseason NBA DFS slate, which I have been covering, and the NBA preseason DFS slates have been pretty easy to project and give content on. So just interesting in general. But we'll get into the picks for this week and to start off as always with the quarterbacks, and then we'll move position by position, give you guys the core plays, and then at the end of the video, I actually have a cool feature that I'm going to introduce to you guys. Is live on the 9 to 5 Sports page right now, and I'm pretty excited for it, so stay tuned for that. It's pretty much just going to be optimizing our main build for this week, and we'll see about that. So we'll get started here with the quarterbacks. So on the quarterback side of the ball, on the quarterback's position this week, I actually really do like Phillip Rivers. He is popping out a ton to me, so you guys can see his DK point per minute or DK points per dollar projection is 3.6, which is pretty strong overall. Matchup wise, he doesn't have a elite matchup, but still it's kind of so. Houston is just a safe matchup in general, and that's why for me this week he is going to be my core play. So have a projection of around 20 DK points for him. Once again, Houston has just been a very safe play for any quarterback this season, and he has the highest point per dollar play of any quarterback this week. So yeah, he's one that's really popping for me. Some other guys that we can look at, I'll pull that back up. And right now I do have kind of the whole data set there for all the quarterbacks. So for all the slates uploaded right now, Tom Brady is actually popping a decent amount, so I don't mind Tom Brady as a play. Jalen Hurts, kind of interesting to me. Obviously his DK projection is just based on him not playing that much. I would juice that up to right around 18, so I don't mind him. Okay matchup, nothing spectacular, but 5.9 per guy that's going to rush that much. That's something that does intrigue me a little bit. And then I really don't want to go lower than that. So for me, it's really just going to be looking at Jalen Hurts, Phillip Rivers, or trying to pay up for one of the other quarterbacks like Tom Brady, Ryan Tannehill. You know, that's kind of the route that I want to go this week, especially at the quarterback spot. So we'll move on into the running backs here. So switching over into the running backs, we'll just go down into kind of the DK point per minute matchup average. I need to find a better word for that, name for that. If someone can come up with like a 9 to 5 exclusive name for DK plus minus for the matchup. Obviously, that is just how the players, how that position has performed against, for instance, Detroit. So players are seeing 7+ more points to their DK average in a matchup against the Detroit Lions. So obviously Derrick Henry really popping there. He's a guy that should be in a lot of people's builds. I think he's absolutely going to go off. Having projected to score over 20 DK points, and I think that number can end up being a lot higher than that. Derrick Henry's in a great spot, but he's not the one I want to touch on today. It's actually going to be Jonathan Taylor. Dude has a plus minus of 8.5. He is absolutely just in a great spot. And he's been dominating the last 2 weeks. It's finally taken over for the Jonathan Taylor show in Indianapolis, and it had been a while. It's has been building momentum. Let's put it that way. It's no surprise that he's doing well. 3 great matchups in a row now, and this is the best one on the slate. Once again, Houston has just been a safe matchup for quarterbacks and running backs. The only problem here is that I really do hate that we have JT and Phillip Rivers combined together, but that's just kind of how it's went this year. Obviously, you don't want to go too crazy with that, but both of them are a great matchup. Both of them should hit their projection, and JT could easily go off and just dominate. He's being used in the passing game. Obviously, I think he's going to get 100 yards rushing, so he should get that bonus as well. And then really the only other running back that I want to touch on this slate, I'll pull him up here, is going to be Leonard Fournette. Obviously, the Rojo news makes Fournette a little bit appealing, but you know, still got to wait and see because he was a surprising inactive last week. He's a guy where right now he's obviously not projected that high, but I think he's going to be a guy that's going to go off this week. So definitely have to look at him this week. And then we're going to get into the receivers now. So receiver-wise, scroll down. So receiver-wise, Washington has the best matchup on the slate. We kind of know that. Seattle's just been horrible defensively. The tough part is trying to figure out who the receiver number 2 in Washington's going to be, and do we really want to go crazy with that? With Dwayne Haskins playing at quarterback. Now, I think we probably do want to stay away from that a little bit, and you could probably attack Seattle with, or what you can attack Washington with Seattle's defense. So I don't mind that. But once again, Tampa Bay Buccaneers receivers are in a great spot. So if you want to look at like Mike Evans, if you want to look at Chris Godwin, you can. But I'm going to go back to the well with Antonio Brown as a core play. And this is for now. But overall, he's seen around 7 targets per game at 6.8 since he's been a Buccaneers player. He's the second best matchup on any receiver on the slate. The only worry about him is his dip in percentage of receiver snaps. It went down to less than 50% last week, and that is the biggest worry for me with AB this week. Antonio Brown. Wow, sorry about that. Maybe that's a good sign. But anyways, the problem with him is that I think come Sunday, there's going to be some clear-cut, better value plays than Antonio Brown where we can project those same targets that we're projecting for him this week. I think we can find that on Sunday as well. So that's my biggest worry with him this week. Other than that, there's obviously a bunch of receivers in some great spots. So let me just scroll down a little bit more here. Robert Woods in a great spot. I like his price point. I like his matchup. Same thing for Cooper Kupp, obviously. Those guys are going to be good plays for you. Brandon Ayuk, I don't think we can afford to not pay attention to him anymore. I think he's in a stellar spot, especially going against that Dallas defense. I really do like that. Then after that, I do think there's going to be some good value that opens up. I just haven't been able to lock in on who exactly that is. Really, the only one I've been able to come up with is Laviska Shenault, who, you know, the whole year he's been involved in the passing game for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Obviously, last week he was more involved. That is a sign, I think, of things to come, and I do like him. And then really the only other one is Lynn Bowden here so far. You got to use a ton in the passing game. And if he's going to continue to get that volume, which I think he is going to, I absolutely love him as a value play at 3.6. It makes a ton of sense. And that's where I go back to my point of AB. It's like right now we're kind of projecting Bowden to have about the same targets. Slightly worse matchup. But the 2K price difference is where I'm struggling with the Antonio Brown call. So that does worry me a little bit. Now we'll move on to the tight ends, and then we'll be wrapping it up. So tight end wise, scroll down here. So who has the best matchup? It's the Los Angeles Rams tight ends, but the problem with that is you really can't play either of them when Tyler Higbee and Gerald Everett are both active. So that is the worry with those two. So I don't think we should play those two. Evan Ingram gets a decent matchup going against the Cleveland Browns. That's something that we like. And then after that, it's kind of just a bunch of players grouped together. We do got to wait and see on the news at the tight end spot for the Denver Broncos because I think some value could really be opened up there. Once again, that'll be something I get back to you guys on Sunday for because I think one of these tight ends here, whether it's Fournette, Troy Fumagalli, they could be in for a nice week. Troy Fumagalli had a solid week last week with Fant getting injured, so we have to wait and see on the injury news there. But the one I like the most is actually going to be Irv Smith Jr. here. Came in and started in replace of Kyle Rudolph. It's weird because I've only played really the Minnesota tight ends when one of them has been out. Kyle Rudolph had been the go-to play for a little bit there while Irv Smith was out. He was too cheap and he was being productive. And now it's the other way around. Irv Smith Jr. came in and had 4 targets for 60 yards and a TD. Now, obviously, we don't expect that, but he came out, played well. He's a guy that they do want to get involved in the offense a decent amount. For me, he's a safe play that also does have that upside that you want to look for. Chicago's a good defense, and that is the worry here as well. And you could also kind of find the other tight end play here on the other side of the ball with Cole Kmet, who has kind of been a guy that has came on strong for 9 to 5 recently. He's kind of been a decent value play, so I actually don't mind Cole Kmet as well. Currently, he's projected obviously a little bit lower than what I actually think he's going to get here, because this just takes the season average. I would project him to score right around 10 DK points, and I think it's going to be more of a safe 10 DK points. It was very tilting last week to see Jimmy Graham get the touchdown for the Chicago Bears last week. I was really hoping that it would actually be Cole Kmet. Now it is time. I'm going to unreveal the new tool to you guys on the 9 to 5 Sports page. All right, so I had already ran the simulations for this, but I'm going to the player pool so you can break it down here You know, you can start off with all, you can break down position by position. I've already locked in the players that I want to be on for this specific video to optimize the players I'm looking at right now. I actually locked in Brandon Ayuk and not Antonio Brown just yet. So we'll have to wait and see on that, see if that's going to stay the same. So yeah, I ran the optimization here. So you just put in whatever amount of lineups you want, and then you go from there, and we'll click off of that. And this is the builds that it came up with. And I actually don't mind this, but I think I'd rather go with this build right here on the right-hand side. Phillip Rivers, Derrick Henry, Leonard Fournette, Chad Henson. That's surprising to me. We'll have to change that up, I think, possibly. But he's been consistent thus far. Brian Ayuk, I like Corey Davis. I don't think I agree with that. I think that's where I'd put in Antonio Brown for now. Cole Kmet, JT, Seahawks D. And that's a lineup that I like a decent amount. Obviously, you can play around with this a little bit more for you guys to see how you guys see fit. There's a lot of ways you can manipulate this, and this is just kind of the first look lineup build there for you guys. Once again, that is live on the 9 to 5 Sports page. But that is all I have for you guys this week for the Core Plays video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a like and subscribe. We'll be going live on Sunday as well, kind of for the rest of the season. Going to be trying to produce that NBA DFS content, as well as getting some updated stuff on the 9 to 5 Sports page like this optimizer. I'm going to put a video out there for any 9 to 5 members to show them kind of how to use this lineup optimizer. And then it is a really powerful tool for the showdown slate specifically. You can have some huge success on the showdown slates. This is a beta program going so far, the NFL optimizer. So, if you guys have some comments for it, for improvements or something you guys want to see, definitely leave that in the 9 to 5 Sports chat.